Cricket seems to lend itself to what we used to call it mental disintegration, Tom, not sledging. If we could suggest something to the opposition that wasn't racist, that wasn't too personal, that got them thinking about the comment but not the ball coming down, we thought that was a win. We also had batsmen who we didn't sledge because we felt like it motivated them. So there is a little bit of art to sledging.
So were you a sledger or a sledgee?
I used to sledge myself, so I was a...
What would you say to yourself?
Oh, well... I generally, if performances weren't going well, I'd give myself a bit of a rev up. But Merv Hughes was a big sledger.
What would he say?
Well, he wouldn't play consecutive games these days.
No.
I think a lot of swearing. But we liked the witty sledgers. And there was England 2001 fifth test match. Jimmy Orman comes out, English batsman on debut. Mark Waugh's at first slip, and he turns to him and goes, "Mate, I played county cricket against you a couple of years ago. You weren't good enough for county cricket. It's a disgrace you're playing test cricket." Jimmy faces a couple of deliveries. Then as Mark Waugh's walking past at the end of the over, he turns to Mark Waugh and goes, "Hey, mate, leave us alone. At least I'm the best player in my family."
So he turned
Not
it round.
Not bad.
Any others?
I don't think there's too many more I can say on air.
Well, that's the thing, though. But I mean, some people, unkind people, would say that we're supposed to be setting an example for younger adherents to the game. Young cricketers. I mean, should they be taught that threatening a tail ender to get ready for a broken effing arm is a good idea?
Well, I think if we'd heard every comment through the mics, I think there'd be possibly something from Anderson and Broad when they were obviously attacking Clark with that shorter delivery. But whether it needs to go across on microphone, that's an issue as well. But as I go back to it, it's a bit of an art because you talk to people who you might vulnerable with verbals, and there's some players that you wouldn't even think about sledging there as well. So it's about picking the right mark.
Does everybody just shake hands afterwards?
Well, if you watched the cricket last night,
Yeah,
they did. So
they did.
Anderson and Clark, they deliberately went to him to see if there was any verbals. They looked each other in the eye and they shook hands. And that should be enough of it. But as you just mentioned, Clarkie might be losing about 20% of his match.
How much is that, by the way?
For him, actually, it'd probably be about $3,000. I think they get about 15,000.
So he can afford it.
I think he can on his $1 million contract.
So overall, you think it's okay? Sledging should be encouraged. Maybe get rid of the microphones, but don't try and stamp it out of the game.
I don't think stamp it out, but I'll go back again. It's a fine line when you're saying something about people, and I don't think it was breached or went too far on the weekend.